All right, now it's time for our GNC2 main event. The starting lineup looks like this. On the pole, number 67M, Dashin Davis Fisher. Starting second pick on the front row, 54A, Dan Bromley. Third pick on the front row, 44E, Nick Armstrong. Fourth pick on the front row, 94B, that's Flying Ryan Wells. Up next, number 30Z, that's Brombo, Bronson Bauman. Last pick on the front row is last week's winner, number 16S, that's Tristan Avery. Back in row number 2, 23F, Jeffrey Lowry. 24F, J.R. Addison. The Daytona Short Track winner is the 11Z, Andrew Luker. 72F is Tyler Butts. Third generation racer, the 68A, that's Revan Ryan Barnes. And the 27U, that is Jamison Miner. Now we go all the way back to row number 3, the 14A, Dalton Gautier. 23Z, James Monaco. The Flying Tomato, 36B, Colby Carlisle. 16M, Austin Helmholtz. 56A, Roy Miller. And 157 pounds of Twisted Steel and Sex Appeal, the 17C, Sean McNary.
Oh, you just had to throw that in there, huh?
I had to. He was my co-announcer there at one of the rounds last year, and I got to give him a hard time getting fired up for this main event. Chris, we've had to change the program around. It's time for our last main event. After this one, depending on what the weather's doing, we still have the Dash for Cash.
Yeah, now you never know that 1 point you earn in the Dash for Cash can make the difference
In a championship.
in the championship.
Yep.
As somebody who tied in points and lost the championship on a tiebreaker, every point counts. So I'm sure Brad Baker and the rest who are chasing that in the Dash will be after that point because it will help them.
So this is the second week in a row the GNC2 riders have been on the Twins, which is very similar equipment to what the GNC1 riders ride.
Very similar bikes, pretty much the same specs. Roy Miller there, he kind of built that motorcycle that the 27U of Jamison Miner. He's built his own bike. He's the engine builder on those.
Let me make something clear. They're going to give him one lap to check out the racetrack. Since it's been a long time since these riders were on the track has changed a whole lot.
Yes, it has, and this is the first time these guys will get out on the racetrack that's changed as much as it has. They've been going out before a 25-lap GNC1 race. Now they're going out after a 25-lap GNC1 race, and I'm sure in many cases they're going to be in for surprises. Tracks changed a bunch from where they were.
They did have the benefit of several restarts. They could sit back there and watch the big screen in the infield, or they could mill around the inside of the racetrack and watch. As long as their bikes were staged in the staging area, the rider doesn't have to be present, so they can go observe and see what the track's like. This is their one opportunity to see what the racetrack is. GNC2 main event, it is 18 riders. It's only 12 laps, so it's just under half the distance of the GNC1 main event, so not quite as long. And don't forget, we do have that Dash for Cash coming up next. The GNC1 riders that finished first and second in their respective heat races are in the Dash for Cash. So they're checking some transponders on some motorcycles. So they're trying to figure out one of the bikes, the 24F. They said the transponder's not working. They'll make sure he's got his transponder on. It has number 0. They're sorting things out. I mean, there's so much going on in my ear, in my head. I just wish you could see what's happening right here.
Well, I can see you're a little bit frustrated at the moment. That's all right, but
I want to race.
I want to see a good race here too. I'd like to see somebody mix it up with the 67M. Davis Fisher been fast all day long. Kind of got away in his heat race. We saw some improvements. Last week that 16S seems to be pretty well prepared for the main event. We'll see if that continues this week.
And don't count out Dan Bromley on the inside. The 54A's been very strong. He's got the Bill Warner Racing Kawasaki, and also Nick Armstrong. Remember, he had a good run at Springfield on the mile. He's on that same Suzuki. He has trouble getting off the line though, so they said he actually had a different motorcycle ready to go, and it actually blew up on the dyno. So he's back on the Suzuki, not the bike he wanted to be on, but he's on a proven bike to himself. So here we are, less than 10 seconds away from the GNC2 main event. Bikes are in gear. There's two. The Christmas tree has 1 red, 2 yellows, and then we go green. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Main event number 2 at the Indy Mile. Clutches are out, and they take off in a hurry. Fisher goes absolutely nowhere. The 3 riders from the inside is going to go the first into the turn. It's Bromley. He's got Bauman with him, and Ryan Wells, the 94B, is right there in the 3rd spot. Bromley's all kinds of crossed up in the lead.
Yeah, spinning the rear wheel through the middle of the corner, but doesn't really slow him down. Everybody's doing the same thing behind him. But good run coming off down the back straightaways. We got a gaggle of them going 3 wide off into turn number 3.
It is Bromley out front. Fisher in
Oh,
the
we
two
have a
spot.
rider down toward the back of the field. Looked like the 11 of Andrew Luker, kind of getting sucked into the draft. Hope he's okay.
Andrew Luker is the rider that went down the 11Z, and there's another bike's been collected.
Dalton
Gauthier
Gauthier
is there also. And tough news, it is the owner of that team, the 11Z. It is Jerry Kennedy's birthday here today. So tough break for him. It is the 11th. That was number 11. It was going to be a nice little story.
Yeah.
Looks like it's not going to end the way we want it to.
No, unfortunate. You know, a lot of times the first lap, you know, when you have a pack that close going off into the corner, you kind of get sucked in through the vacuum created by all the motorcycles in front of you, and you kind of get in there a little bit quicker than you want. And I think that's what happened. Looked like the rear end kind of came around on the 11, kind of just caught him a little bit on the outside edge of our screen. And tough break for Andrew Luker and Dalton, who probably had nowhere to go.
Yeah, he probably just had to throw it away to keep from going down. But looks like Andrew Luker may have got into the air fence just a little bit. Looks like the pipes are definitely torn off the 11Z. I'm not sure if they got another set of pipes. I know that's the only bike he has right now. But good crowd here at the Indy Mile. Appreciate everybody's patience and switching up the program here today. And this is the GNC2 main event. Up next is the GNC1 Dash for Cash. Again, depending on what the weather is doing for sure. So we're trying to get this thing in as fast as we can. Again, Davis Fisher got a terrible start, but had already worked his way up to the second position. So he got through 1 and 2 very well. Just could not get going off the starting line.
Yeah,
Chris?
Got a good run off of turn 2 and maybe made a couple drafts. That angle that we had didn't quite show, but he was certainly up toward the front by the time reaching turn through. But these guys had a lap to see the track at speed and a lap to see it under caution beforehand. So they should be good and prepared to figure out what they need to do to get through the rest of this 12-lap race as we'll have a complete restart.
Danny's, I believe, caught up with last week's winner, Tristan Avery. Danny?
Thanks, you guys. So, Tristan Avery, you won last weekend. Do you have what it takes to do it again here at the Indy Mile?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure bike's still kind of the same, and we're just kind of moving towards the front. And I'm very lucky that we kind of got a front row start, and we just got to get a better start and stay high around turn 1 and get a good drive coming out of 2, and I think we'll be in pretty good shape.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Scotty and Chris, back to you guys.
Thanks a lot, Danny. Tristan might have what it takes to win here. He's got to get a good start. Obviously, it didn't look like the Davis Fisher machine got a very good start, but he made it through turns 1 and 2 very, very good. Dan Bromley has a good start on the 54A, and he's on the very inside, so that was working earlier, but we saw Jared Meese take the outside every time in the GNC1 class. Where would you start right now if you were one of these young up-and-comers?
Well, I can only... I'm the kind of guy that I got to go over there and put the right sole rubber into the dirt and kind of see what it feels like. Visually, I think you could go either way. There's a couple spots down there toward the inside where you see, right in front of Bill Werner there, next to the motorcycle, appears to be a darker shade of brown that tends to have a little bit of grip, and that's where the start that Bromley had. And then you have the outside over there. If you don't light it up, and you can take off on the rubber that's been put down on the racetrack, allows you to kind of get over onto a clean surface and allow you to accelerate. A lot of these guys in the middle are going to be spinning for a while as they approach turn 1.
And they're taking this moment right now to air up the air fence out there in turn number 3. Didn't look like the bikes got into it. Doesn't look like they're punctured. Maybe they have a release valve that they're supposed to, when they hit them, that the air will kind of release out of.
Yeah, it'll pop
so
off
it
valve,
absorbs everything. So they're firing up the bikes right now. And if the two guys that restart right now, the two that went down, if they restart, they'll be at the row 4, and that will be Andrew Luker and the 14A of Dalton Gauthier. So we're just about a couple of seconds away. As soon as that turn number 3 is ready to go, we are going to turn them loose. 11Z is a scratch. So Andrew Luker's day is done. Tough break for him. And Jerry Kennedy, happy birthday. I know it's not the way your day you wanted to end here, but good thing is riders up and okay, and there'll be another day of racing.
That's right. Have a little bit of time. These riders will be off for about 4 weeks, 3.5 weeks before we go August 4th to Rapid City, South Dakota during the 75th annual Sturgis Bike Week as we send it down to Danny Medine.
Thanks, you guys. Dan Bromley, you've had a great day so far. You're right where you need to be. Why did you decide to pick here on the starting line on the restart?
I picked it down here because there's a little bit more moisture, and I knew up higher it was a little bit dry slick. I tried it in a heat race, and it didn't really work out, so I thought I'd do the opposite.
Well, good luck to you, Chris and Scotty. Back to you guys.
Notice he's running his glasses instead of wearing his contacts. Is that because it's so dusty out there in some spots?
It very well could be. Having never worn contacts, I have heard from those that do on a real dirty track like this, getting that dirt in the contact lenses kind of ruins your day. So probably a better move to wear his glasses and see the best that he can with them.
Absolutely. So we did hear that the 11Z is a scratch, and we are not sure about the Dalton Gauthier. I haven't seen him coming back this direction or not yet. So I believe Danny's roaming around, see if we can catch up with anybody else down there on the track. I believe she's caught up with our points leader. And
Davis Fisher. Yep, I got him, you guys. Davis Fisher, we're going to restart. You're over here. Are you feeling pretty confident with your position?
I mean, I didn't get that great of a start going off to the first turn, but we'll make some adjustments and try to get the whole shot.
Sometimes the restart works for you, sometimes it doesn't, but I think you're in a good spot. Scotty and Chris, back to you.
Appreciate it, Danny. I'm listening into the AMA Pro radio, and they said that the riders cannot see, especially down the back straightaway. I think they're going to sprinkle some water on the racetrack. I know there's a threat of rain, but rider safety is very important. So I believe a sprinkle on the racetrack from the water truck to try to knock some of the dust down. So I believe we're going to take a short break, maybe real quick, and see what's going on. And when we come back, we will have the complete restart of GNC2 main event. So stay tuned. We'll be back with the restart.
Jared Vanderkoy here, 17 years old, GNC1 rookie. We're from Mount Gilead, Ohio. We're riding for the Don's Kawasaki, DPC, Woody Kyle Racing Kawasaki's. Definitely, it's really cool to be a part of the Saddlemen Seats Rookie of the Year. Unfortunate Kyle had to get off there, and I took over the lead, but we have a pretty lengthy lead right now, about 10 points, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, it's really cool with Saddlemen putting up the money and going for this award. The ultimate goal is to get the championship, but this year's the Rookie of the Year. We're going to finish up there, and hopefully we'll break the top 10 by the end of the year. We're sitting 17th in points right now. Struggled a little bit here and there, but definitely championship. That's what we're going for.
Hi, I'm Ricky Howerton. I am part owners in the Crosley, Howerton, Esparza 42 team. We've been around since 2012. The team consists of Bo Lamastus of Crosley, Joe Esparza, myself, Jeff Gordon, Ron Glidden, and Brian Smith is a rider. Being that this is our 5th year in the race series, we've put a tremendous amount of effort in this team to try to get it to the point that it is now. We basically all have day jobs. We do this at night, so we're working 12, 15, 18-hour days. It's been a big strain, I think, on everyone personally, but it's definitely been probably, and I can speak for everyone on the team, probably some of the funnest years that we've ever had. Overall, our decision with Kawasaki has been a great one, as it's shown great reliability, and with Kawasaki stepping in the sanction this year, it's been a great decision.
You know, Ricky's the driving force behind me riding and the rest of the team doing the hard work, really. I mean, he's the guy that keeps the wheels turning whether we like it or not. Whether it's me winning and he's picking apart my riding to go faster the next week, which I like, or leaning on the crew to get the work done and make sure we got the best equipment at the track, and it shows. I mean, sometimes I think we all joke that he's a slave driver, but it's helped the results, and that's the way it should be for sure.
We're committed to get Brian that #1 plate, and whatever it takes effort-wise and resources is what we're going to do.
Jared Mees, Grand National #1.
Smith, national number 42.
Hey, I'm Sammy Halbert, number 7. Watch me live on fanschoice.tv. I'm Kenny Coolback. Watch me live on fanschoice.tv. Hey, I'm Brandon Robinson, national number 44. And watch me live on fanschoice.tv.
I'm Shayna Texter, number 52, and you're watching me live on Fan Choice TV.
I'm Henry Wiles, number 17. Watch me live on fanschoice.tv.
I'm Rob Pearson, number 27, KTM GE Waters Auto Body.
I'm Jeffrey Carver, national number 23. Watch me on fanschoice.tv.
I'm Johnny Lewis. Watch me live on fanschoice.tv.
All right, track maintenance just about done here at the Indy Mile. We're going to have a complete restart. They said some of the riders could not see going into turn 3, possibly the cause of the wreck. Chris Carr, it sounded like you said you thought the riders got sucked up in the draft. And when you run out of room, you instead of hitting somebody, you sometimes stick it in the ground on purpose. But they put the moisture on the racetrack. We're still watching Mother Nature. After this one, we're still planning on our Dash for Cash. So let's talk about the starting grid a little bit. Our pole setter, Davis Fisher, got a horrible start at the very start. He's got a whole nother ball game, but he was actually up there near the front coming off of turn number 4 on the last lap.
Yeah, what he didn't accomplish off the line, he certainly made up for by the time we got to turn 3. Let's hope these guys can, navigate. The thing about turn 3 at Indy is it's not as wide as DuQuoin is. It's not as wide as Springfield, and it's a much tighter corner than both places. So these guys, first time riding GNC2 equipment or GNC1 caliber, they're gonna, as they get ready to give them a siding lap after putting a little bit of water down, these guys are going into the tightest corner they have, all bunched together. So this is part of the learning process, getting themselves a little bit of experience.
So they're going to give them one lap to check out the racetrack. Since they added some moisture, some of the bikes did not quite get started just as good as the other ones, so only a few of them got to go around. And so they got a few of them got to go look at the track, and then we'll stage them up once again. And so they're going to send them out now. Here comes Bronson Bauman on the 30Z, Ryan Wells 94B. Remember, after his heat race, he had a little puff of smoke and looked like he kind of coasted in after the finish. Is that something you think he could fix, or if he went to a backup bike, he has to start the tail end of the field, don't you think?
Yeah, as we see, you have to start, you get on a backup bike. No, actually, you don't have to go to the back of the field.
Okay.
As well, I have little issues here with the 2023Z of James Monaco.
And he's running that different Honda. We heard it was
Honda
a Super Hawk.
Yeah.
Not the RS750 like Mac McGrew, but that was a Super Hawk that Monaco is riding. So they're going to push him off the track, and we're going to stage him up, and we're going to go racing again. So this is the GNC2 main event. It's scheduled for 12 laps, so just a little under half the distance of the GNC1 riders. Actually, now they're trying to push start that motorcycle, which that is a handful to try to get that thing started. That's got to be a very heavy motorcycle. They're trying to bring them all up to the line right now, and we're going to turn them loose as soon as we can. We know the threat of rain's coming. I heard some sprinkles were reported out there, but we're going to try to get this one in as fast as we can. And we do have the Dash for Cash coming up next. Looks like that Honda did fire up.
You said that earlier that we thought that might have been coming from Wells's bike. That I thought that might have been a possibility. That bike was there in that similar area.
Gotcha.
So we'll have to keep an eye on it, but they need to get to the line. We need to get this thing going as soon as possible.
Yep. Dash for Cash coming up next as we have changed the program all the way around in different circles and every which way but loose. And we've got the GNC1 main event. That's what most of the people came to see. I know a lot of people came to see this race also. We just ran to the grandstands. There's still lots of people out there having a good time here at the Indy Mile.
Well, it's not too late yet. So, with our accelerated program, we're glad to see a lot of people stick around and support our GNC2 riders as we get ready to get the grid going.
Matt Daybringer says, watch the Christmas tree. It's time. We got 18 riders. Actually, now we're down to 17 riders. Andrew Luker's a scratch, so we only have 17 riders restarting this one, and they take off. This time Armstrong goes straight to the groove and gets a good shot from the high side. On the inside, it's Dan Bromley again with the whole shot. It's Armstrong into the lead.
Armstrong around the outside. Good start as he gets it through the middle of 1 and 2, getting a good drive off turn 2. Fisher up into the 4th spot. We'll see if he can pull that master draft move that he had earlier and get himself propelled toward the front. Gets himself, nope, they kind of
Wells takes over
line
the
up
third
single
spot.
file.
Kinda
Fisher
shuts
gets kind of pushed a little wide, got sucked in a little bit there, avoids the rider in front of him, goes wide, grabs a handful, running the cushion. See if he can hold position coming off it. He drops back to 5th coming off of turn 4.
Armstrong leads him off of 4. Bromley in 2nd. Wells in the 3rd spot. Looks like Jamison Miner in 5th, and now a new rider coming up there to take over that 5th spot. Look at Nick Armstrong. Remember, it took him a long time to get going at Springfield because he got a terrible start. This time he's got the whole shot. Now he's trying to hold off a hard charging Dan Bromley on the 54A.
Yeah, good run by Dan Bromley. He spent a lot of time at the Amateur Nationals this week as well as he and his father who works with AMA Sports. We're down there spending a lot of time working with some of the young kids. Good to see him doing well. Looks like he's running toward the front more than normal.
Fisher's up to the 4 spot looking for 3rd place. Nick Armstrong leads him off of 4. We got Dan Bromley there in 2nd. Now it's Wells and Fisher. Fisher up the inside to take the 3rd spot. Jamison Miner's right there in 5th. Nick Armstrong, 2 laps complete, 10 laps to go in the GNC2 main event. Another puff of smoke up there. I think it might still be the 94B of Wells. Has a little puff of smoke when he lets off the throttle. Good battle for the lead.
Good battle for the lead. Bromley doesn't quite line up in time as Fisher gets a draft off the inside, taking over the 2nd position. Blows it off the groove there going into turn 3. Hits that one hole on the outside edge. He gets it up in the cushion, grabs a handful.
Rider down into the air fence in turn number 3. The rider's up. It just looks like they're still racing. Now the red flag is displayed. So rider going down in turn number 3. Didn't see it on our camera view. It's the Flying Tomato, Colby Carlisle. He jumps up and gets going, but he got into the air fence, so the red flag came out a little bit early. He's pointing backwards. Doesn't look very happy. I know he has actually borrowed that motorcycle. I can't remember who he got that bike from, but he blew up his Kawasaki last weekend at DuQuoin and goes down to turn number 3. He is up and okay. The handle, the air fence, they said looks good. He's taking a look down right now. Oh, there's another rider down. Reverend Ryan Varnes is also down.
2 riders down, goes with him. Not sure. I'm sure one of them may have laid it down to avoid the other, or vice versa. Tough break for both of them as we have looks like we've got some smoke coming out of the
radiator.
68 out of the radiator. Hopefully you can get that up on the loose dirt, not drag any moisture around on the middle of the blue groove.
So Carlisle, the 36B, and the 68A of Reverend Ryan Varnes, son of Kevin Varnes, used to be national number 89, caused this red flag. And we had 2 laps in the book, so 10-lap shootout, just like we had just a little while ago in the GNC1 class. So what a wild night we're having here in Indy.
Well, you know, we saw very little issues through the heat races. Guys got in the main event, and then the main event comes along, and it's like, all right, this is it. Some riders, you know, need to have a little bit more time to kind of get themselves going and get into the swing of things. So tough night for these guys.
So we will have, I believe, a staggered restart for the first time in the GNC2 class. Going back 1 lap, it looks like Nick Armstrong was the leader last time by. Dan Bromley was in 2nd. Davis Fisher was back there in the 3rd spot, and he was charging. Ryan Wells was shown in the 4th spot. Jamison Miners in 5th. Bronson Bauman 6th. Jeffrey Lowry, J.R. Addison, Tristan Avery's in the 9th spot. Colby Carlisle was in 10th, and Ryan Varnes was in the 11th spot. So those 2 riders might have got together going into turn number 3. That was, of course, behind what we were looking at on our we were watching the battle for the lead.
Yeah, not quite in camera view. And while we have a second here, I want to make a shout out to a young man celebrating a birthday today. Anthony Crabb, son of former Grand National number 38 Rob Crabb. But Anthony, happy birthday today. I saw him at the Amateur Nationals all week working with contender.
Nick Armstrong, you're our current race leader out here. How confident are you feeling that you have what it takes to take this all the way to the podium?
You know, I definitely have the horsepower, so I just got to stay smooth and consistent, keep it on the groove, and I think I can take it.
How is visibility from a rider's perspective?
I was out front that whole time, so for me, everything was fine.
Well, good luck to you. We're just about to get going green.
That was Nick Armstrong. We had him in the truck a couple weeks ago, Chris, and he was our points leader at that time. And I don't think he ever wants to come back in the truck again, because when he left there, I think he left in about 4th in the points.
Yeah, that was a tough night for him, for Nick. But he's a good young rider. Only been flat tracking about 4 years. I know the Bromley kid up there, and certainly Davis Fisher and many of the others in the field have been flat tracking most of their lives, although many of them, teenagers. But a lot of them got started 4, 5, 6 years old, and Nick Armstrong got started probably after high school.
Absolutely. So. And speaking of teenagers, Roy Miller's out there, so he's a little over his teens.
Yeah, he's.
I raced against him. I think you raced against him too.
I certainly did. Yeah. Former national number 56, does a lot of local races in District 6. I've seen him ride his twin on some short tracks. He's the only one crazy enough to do that so far, but he's a good rider, been around quite a bit, and revisiting Grand National Racing in the GNC2 class. So welcome back to Roy Miller. I know this isn't his first week. We saw him in Du Quoin. Maybe we're going to see him some more as the year goes on.
So Nick Armstrong shown in the lead. Dan Bromley right there in the 2 spot. Armstrong's been getting a pretty good start this time on his Suzuki, and he's right there on the groove, so that should definitely help him get a start. And he is on the Suzuki. I believe he's listed on a 1000cc Suzuki.
As we take a look at the Parkinson Brothers Racing Kawasaki of Davis Fisher. Little help there from Nicky Hayden. Nicky 69 down the right leg of his.
Team 95 on the right shoulders. That's J.D. Beach, some of the people that help out Davis Fisher, and he's a super fast rider, and he's got, he's the son of former national number 12 Rex Fisher. You raced lots of times with that guy.
I raced with all the old guys.
Sounds good. So as soon as they are tracks ready to go, they're going to fire him back up and turn him loose again. I believe we got 10 laps left here in the GNC2 main event. And don't forget, the Dash for Cash is coming up next, immediately following our victory podium interviews with Danny Medine and whoever gets in the top 3 positions. There's Ryan Wells. Good look at him right there, the 94B. He's ready to go.
Saying hello to everybody there at home.
Jamison Miner's hanging tough in this race, up there in the 5th spot.
Yes, he is. Jamison, a good Northeast rider. I've watched him several places around the Northeast as I live in that area in Pennsylvania, and he's one of the guys to beat nearly every week at the events that I've attended. Also a little support from Miller. Roy Miller builds that motorcycle.
Miller Motorsports Racing also on there on the side of that one. They said, let's crank him up. Reaches down there, flips the switch down there. Looks like twisting the throttle a little bit. Going to fire up the 27U. There's Bronson Bauman on a Harley Davidson, the 30Z. They call him Brombo. He's up there in the 5th spot, or 6th spot, I should say. We're going to line him up. 10 laps left, ladies and gentlemen. GNC2 main event from right here in Indianapolis, Indiana. A different weekend. Is pretty cool that the family events people stepped up and brought us out here July the 11th, 1 week after the Du Quoin Mile. So here we go.
We have a rider circling around at the back of the field.
He's going to scratch. They said the thing is smoking. He's done for the night. That's a tough break for Monaco. He's going to go back to the pit area.
Tough break there. So we line him back up. It's possible that we might be able to have with these guys spread out a little bit more.
What a good start.
Good start up the outside for Armstrong. Resumes his position at the front.
Fisher takes over second, right where we left off. Wells right now there in the 3rd spot, so Bromley slips back a few spots. Now Bromley's in 4th and Jamison Miner in 5th. Off of turn number 2, down the back straight where they go here at the Indy Mile GNC2 class. Fisher puts his hand down.
Little issue.
Fisher's having problems on the 67. There goes our points leader. This is going to tighten things up.
It's going to certainly change the makeup of the point standings. Not sure. The bike seems to be under power, but certainly something's amiss as Nick Armstrong kind of moves off and has about a 3 bike length gap as we come by for the completion of lap 3.
So Nick Armstrong has a pretty commanding lead going into turn number 1 on that Suzuki. A little puff of smoke again from Ryan Wells in 2nd. We got Bromley right there in the 3rd spot. Bronson Bauman's now in 4th as he's made a pass on Jamison Miner, taking over the 4th spot. We have 6 riders breaking away. Tristan Avery holding up the tail end of the lead group. 67M, Davis Fisher off the track. Our points leader will be scored with about a 17th or a 16th place finish. So tough break for our points leader.
Not good. We saw Tristan Avery at the back of that pack got kind of sucked in off the groove. loses several bike lengths to the front 5. He's going to have to work hard to claw his way back toward the lead group, but we saw him come from behind a week ago. Let's see if he can do it again.
It's a hard charger, so back out front, it is the Nick Armstrong machine. Wells in second. Third spot is Bromley. Fourth is Bronson Bauman. Jamison Miner in fifth. Now 5 riders going to try to separate themselves from the rest of the field. As a short gap back to sixth on back. It's anybody's ball game. Now we got about 10 riders down the back straightaway. 2 groups of them, though, into turn number 3. Battle for second.
Bromley up the inside as Bronson Bauman gets into that bump on the outside edge, gets up out of the saddle a little bit. Miner runs it up, takes over the 4th spot, and that allows Bromley to get a little bit of a gap going into coming off of turn 4 to see if he can inch forward toward Nick Armstrong, our leader.
5 laps complete out of 12, ladies and gentlemen. 7 laps to go, 7 miles remaining. Nick Armstrong's trying to set sail, run a smooth ride out there on his Suzuki. We got Dan Bromley starting to close the gap just a little bit on the 54A. Third spot's Ryan Wells. Fourth is Bauman. Jamison Miner's there in fifth. Tristan Avery. Colby Carlisle from the back is up to 7th spot. Jeffrey Lowry in 8th. J.R. Addison 9th. Dalton Gauthier, also from the back row, is up to 10th place.
Yeah, great run for Colby Carlisle coming from on his side.
Yeah.
To 7th, coming from the back of the grid, moving forward.
Battle for the lead as halfway flags are out. The second place rider's caught up to the leader. Is going to show a wheel up the inside. Bromley goes to the lead. Nick Armstrong maybe got spooked just a little bit, picks up his foot. Now he sets it back down. So it's Bromley and Armstrong now, 1 and 2, coming off at turn number 2.
A good move by Bromley there. You know, sometimes you're out front for 3 or 4 laps and nobody goes by. You kind of get lulled into a rhythm as he pulls a draft pass down the back straightaway. Bromley coming up there, maybe spooked him a little bit. Kind of said, "All right, you're going to have to think about this a little bit." A couple riders slipping off the groove, having a hard time keeping it down going into turn 3.
Well, they're getting sucked in so much by these big, they're bigger bikes than what they're used to running. They used to run the 450s, and the draft's a lot different on these bigger bikes, and you can see them having trouble keeping it down low on the groove. It's Armstrong out front, Bromley in second, Wells still hanging on to the 3rd spot. Fourth is Miner. Now Bauman's right there. Tristan Avery's coming up to the front also.
Yeah, Avery doing everything he can to claw his way back onto the rear fender of the 27U, see if he can get up there and get in the mix. He's got about 4.5 laps left in order to get himself up for, to have a chance for another victory as Bromley slips a little wide in turn 3, allowing Armstrong a little bit of a gap coming off of turn 4.
Armstrong running a perfect race so far. He's only been spooked and only been passed once, so he's trying to hang on to the lead. Here comes Bromley right there on the Bill Warner Racing Kawasaki, and he doesn't have anything for him this time. Now look who's in 3rd spot. Bronson Bauman sets his sights on the leaders now.
Yeah, sometimes on these betweener conditions, the Harley can get through the middle of the corners. It certainly looked that way as he inches up right under the tail of the 54 and Bromley coming off of turn 2.
Avery goes by and takes the 5th spot away from Jamison Miner, so Avery now is up to the 5th spot, and now it looks like the 3rd spot again. Bronson slips off the groove down here in 3 and 4, gets back on the groove in time. Another rider a little bit behind those guys slips off the groove. Armstrong is going to lead him off of 4. Bromley's right there in 2nd. Bauman's in 3rd. Wells is in 4th. Now we got 2 riders, and then 2 riders, and then a big gap for the rest of everybody else.
Yeah, I think the 16S of Avery had a little bit of an issue slipping off the groove. He's the one rider, lost touch, drops all the way back behind Miner into a lonely 6th position right ahead of J.R. Addison.
So it's Armstrong and Bromley, 1 and 2. 3rd spot is Bauman trying to get back up there and get with the leaders. Ryan Wells right there in the 4th spot trying to follow that Harley and catch up to the leaders. So we got 2 riders and then the short gap right now, about 4 bike lanes. Whoa!
Oh, Bronson Bauman up out of the saddle,
over.
Right through the middle of the corner. I hadn't seen that all night. Huge issue with 2 laps left. That's tough to come back from on that. That might have cost him his shot at victory.
I think it cost him a podium spot for sure because he's back in 4th now. Back off of turn number 2. Here they come back at us. It's Armstrong. 2nd is Bromley. Now they're coming off of 2 right now. Wow, Bromley loses, gets some tire spin coming off of 2 down the back straight. It's Armstrong, Bromley. Now Wells in 3rd spot. 4th is Bauman. 5th is Miner. Avery in 6th.
That little slip coming off of 2 cost Bromley about 4 bike lengths down the straightaway, but he's able to make it up through the middle of 3 and 4, getting a pretty good drive, gets half of that back. let's see if he can get tugged around, put himself in a position with 1 lap to go.
Here they come to the white flag. It's Armstrong and Bromley. 1 more mile to go. Now Bronson Bauman's looking for that 3rd spot. It's Nick Armstrong. He's only been racing for about 4 or 5 years, and it looks like Bronson slid off the racing groove once again, so Wells takes over that 3rd spot. It's going to be between the 2 leaders. They take him down the back straightaway for the final time. Armstrong on the 44, Bromley on the 54. Down the back chute. Last lap, GNC2 main event, about a 4 bike length lead for Armstrong. If he can get through this corner very smoothly, he should be able to hang on to the win. Here they come. Last lap, last corner, GNC2 main event. Nick Armstrong looking for his first win on the twin on that great big 1000cc Suzuki. It's going to be Nick Armstrong, your winner. Bromley's going to come home in second on the Kawasaki. I believe Bronson Bauman saves a 3rd spot finish after a wild couple of laps going off the racing groove as we wait for the rest of the riders to come across the start-finish line. GNC2 main event going in the books with a double checkered flag, and it's going to be Nick Armstrong, your winner. 2nd, Dan Bromley. 3rd is Bronson Bauman. 4th, Ryan Wells. 5th, Jamison Miner. 6th, Tristan Avery. 7th, J.R. Addison. 8th, Colby Carlisle from the back of the pack. 9th is Jeffrey Lowry. 10th is Dalton Gauthier, also from the back of the pack. Roy Miller, 11th. Sean McNary, 12th. Tyler Butts, 13th. Austin Helmholtz, 14th. Davis Fisher, our points leaders, credited with 15th. Ryan Barnes, 16th. James Monaco, 17th. And Andrew Luker rounds out your field here in the GNC2 main event. Guess what? We have one more race after our victory podium. There's Nick Armstrong. Look how excited he is on that big Suzuki DL1000.
And rightfully so. Great job by Nick Armstrong. Kind of rights the ship after a difficult week in Lima. Having issues with his motorcycle braking. Not the best of weeks last week in DuQuoin. Finishing in the final, but here he makes up for it with a strong, convincing victory. Controlling the race pretty much from the outset of the last restart. Great job by the 44E. Southern California young man who put it on top of the box in Indianapolis. That's got to be a great feeling for that kid.
Got some more background on him. His uncle and his dad were mechanics and actually were part of some winning races out in California, some Grand National Champions riders, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm gonna get some more on that.
We got to find out who that was.
I know some fast guys. They were telling me about it earlier, but Ronnie Jones was telling me the story too. But I want to make sure it's all legit, and I want to have. Hopefully, we'll get to see him next week. He didn't want to see us the last time because the last time he was the points leader, came in here and he had a bad night. Didn't actually finish. I don't even know if he made the main event that night, but had a rough go at it. But he's getting the victory lap here. It's Nick Armstrong on the Suzuki. Kawasaki of Dan Bromley finishes 2nd. Harley Davidson in 3rd. So top 3 different brands here at the Indy Mile. Bronson Bauman, congratulations on that 3rd place finish. Ryan Wells 4th. Jamison Miner 5th. And a tough break for our points leader, who is credited with a 15th place finish. We still have the Dash for Cash coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, so stay tuned. Don't go anywhere here at the Indy Mile.
Well, I tell you that points with Davis Fisher coming in 15th in this class, he had about an 18-point lead, and then there were 6 riders within 8 points between 2nd and 7th. With Fisher in 15th, Armstrong may have resumed the point lead, may not. Trying to remember who was 2nd, but I tell you what, we could have 7 riders within 8 or 10 points here following tonight's race. Very impressive group of kids coming up. It goes to show that the GNC1 class has a lot of talent on its way, and congratulations to Nick Anderson on his podium finish tonight, top of the box.
We'll see if we can get Danny up there as soon as we can. We do have the Dash for Cash coming up after these 3 interviews. Right now, we're going to start with first place. I'm sure get the pure emotion from the winner, the 44E, Nick Armstrong. Let's go trackside with Danny.
Thanks, you guys. Make some noise, Indy. Nick Armstrong taking your first ever win on a twin 2nd this season. This has to feel pretty good.
Yeah, it feels awesome. We worked all week trying to get a Kawasaki together. It had some issues on the dyno last night, but we pulled out the old Suzuki, and she did me good.
Who would you like to thank on helping you take this win?
Definitely got to thank Tim Gokin, Chip Chisholm, Greg with GPS Racing, Southland Racing, Race Tech Suspension, G&G Racing, Leslie Brothers, Fontana Radiator. I got to thank my family for all their help, especially my dad and my uncle. Thank you.
Congratulations. I'm going to step on over to 2nd place, Dan Bromley. You've had a great day. 2nd place has to feel pretty good. Take us to that last lap.
It feels pretty good. Had a good start, and I was out there. There was some, I think Davis blew up, and he pulled over, and that kind of messed me up because I was trying to draft him. But other than that, we worked up there, and the last laps I was trying, but it's kind of hard. I wish AMA let us make a Cowie 1000 to get up here with this thing, but it's fun to ride in the corners and down the straightaways. I'm a little less than I wanted, but I had a great race. Nick rode his butt off and rode the perfect line at every lap that I just couldn't get him in the corners. But I couldn't be happier with Bill Warner and the whole team. Bill, Johnny working their butts off, getting my bikes running. Sponsorer Homes and everybody else, DC Racing, Throttle on Speedco, Triple J Racing, everybody that's helping me and Bill is, I can't thank them enough.
Congratulations on second place. Make some noise, Indy. Bronson Bauman making the move at the last second. Take us through that final corner.
Yeah, you know, when we went into the one, I had the white flag, and the draft sucked me up in there, and I blew way up high, and I fought like hell to get it down on the groove again, and ran it down the back straightaway, and I caught him through 3 and 4, so that was good, and I just played the draft and did the best I could, and at the line I got him, and I'm really happy about that.
Now, who would you like to thank?
I got to thank Lombardi's, Harley Davidson, FNS, R&D Machine, Hart Racing, Arai, Black Diamond, Harley Davidson, my mom and dad, grandma, there's so many, and Fly Racing. Got to thank my girlfriend for coming out, and thanks to everyone back home who's gotten here, especially Rod Lake and RGR.
Nice work. The Dash for Cash is coming up next, but make some noise one more time for our AMA Pro GNC2 podium finishers.
There's your victory podium. Nick Armstrong taking the win, the 44E. Dan Bromley comes home second. Brombo finishes in the third spot on the podium. Congratulations to those top 3 riders. Ryan Wells, 4th. Jameson Minor, 5th. Coming up next will be our Dash for Cash 4 laps, top 2 finishers from the heat race. And it's just about time. Chris, are you ready?
I am ready, and this is for championship contenders. This is an opportunity to narrow in that points gap that Jared Mees has based on his consistency so far this year. And you got Baker going for the points, Smith going for the points, Coolbeth dropping down a little bit today. This is an opportunity for them to go out and maybe squeak one back. And, 4-lap dash, they're always pretty exciting and full of fun.
Well, Indy, hope you guys are having a good time. We did change the program up. Mother Nature was supposed to be here at 8:30, but she didn't show up. She showed up late to the party, so we still got one more race to go. Up next, probably one of the most exciting races, the Dash for Cash